And I want to see my face. I hate seeing
That's
it.
because it's sharing the screen with her.
I know, but I don't like
You just think you're so.
They could just pin their face. You can pin your face.
But like it was hard for me to, like I couldn't feel like I could.
She feels like she's not there when she can't see herself.
Yeah.
But pin your video so you can see yourself.
Okay, so now it's
Will you
working,
pin your
right?
video for her, Ellie?
Yeah, but does anybody else
Okay,
manage
so
right
this-
now?
Did someone put it on the character?
Hi,
I did not.
everybody.
I can
Now
right
we're
now.
going to pause a minute to make sure that everybody is logged back in. You guys are so smart and you did it quick. And thank you for Allie for figuring that out because I had it on the wrong account.
We're in there. It didn't do it. Talk again.
I am doing a test for Amanda. Can someone check how many people are on gallery view? Because I can't see.
I can't get my gallery view. It's
112.
it's like teeny.
Okay,
tiny.
so we got more people in there, so we're good.
13.
All right, so we're going to start, everybody. Welcome. Tonight and tomorrow is about you. Woo! It's all about you. We know you wish you were all together, and we can't be, so we just want to say we're all by ourselves. Sorry, don't want to be. And we know you don't want to be all by yourself, but we want you to just make the best of it. And we are here to inspire you and build and help each other grow and be the best possible directors that you can be. So we want to give you the tools to excel at teaching children, not just the art of dance, but how to be great people. So everybody except for Amanda McCabe in Dickinson, whose box must be like missing in action.
It was shipped.
It
I
was
promise.
shipped. But everybody else, get out your boxes and you can open them now.
Yay!
I can't
Oh.
stand that I can't see anybody.
Do you want me to put it on my screen so you can?
Woo!
You want to do 5 at a time.
Okay, so when you get out your box, don't open the stuff that says don't open it. And what you can do is put the
No.
champagne in your fridge for tomorrow night. We're going to use that then. And in your box, there's so many cool things. So open up your Yeti, what do you call it, tumbler, and inside take out your
wavy
Rooter
label
Palm.
tumbler.
Your wavy label tumbler, and take out your Rooter Palm because we're going to use that to cheer each other on quite often during this. All right.
Let's see you shake them, people.
Is there anything else I need to say about the box?
All the materials are in the envelope.
So the materials are in the envelope in the upper flap, and there's shirts underneath. And just don't take anything out that you don't need out. We will tell you when to get it out.
There's a stop sign sticker and a sticker on
There's
the
a
other thing.
sticker on one thing and a stop
So
sign.
if you have a or a stop sign, do not open them until you're directed.
Okay. So
You want to put your champagne in the refrigerator, right?
See how she has like the
And we'll deal with that tomorrow.
all right. So my constant mantra for you guys and for all of us is that each of us are responsible for the reputation of all of us. Remember that whatever you do as a Just for Kicks director reflects on all of us, whether that be good or whether that be bad. So if you live in Kalamazoo and all the way to Timbuktu, it matters what you're doing because it reflects on all of us. Next slide. There is a special place in hell for women who don't support other women. And I love that saying. I hear a lot of sayings, and I had never heard that one until this year. We need to stick together. And aren't we so lucky that we work for a company where it's not the case? We do support each other. We are women here who support and lift each other up every day. And the more you do to build up and support the directors who live around you in your area and even in other states, the more successful we will all be. Cue music.
Amen.
And
Hallelujah, sister.
nothing's going to stop us now. And dance studio owners lately, I was on this chat with all dance studio owners that weren't our Just for Kicks directors. They were people from all over. And I did I was on a call with them. And I realized one very weird and different thing. They don't share. They don't build each other up. They don't help each other because they see themselves as competitors, where even though we might be down the street from each other, we don't see each other as competitors. So it's just awesome the way we are. And what's really been interesting during all this, I'm a sharer, and I don't care if you work for Just for Kicks or not. I had the Larkin owner call me 3 times in the last month. I've had numerous calls with various studio owners from various places, and that's kind of cool. They go to us for their guidance. Next. So I love this law of attraction, and this is a great saying. Enthusiasm brings on excitement. Excitement then produces energy. Energy generates extra effort. Extra effort develops excellence. Aren't you excited? Get excited for the convention. All right. Now I want you to think about how lucky you are to have a job where you make a difference. You make kids' lives a lot better and brighter. You connect the dots for those kids who need them connected, and you make a difference. Now what we're going to do is watch a video called Mr. Jensen. So
memories from when I was a child. One that's always stuck out to me though was when I was about 10 years old and I was in school and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping. And the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." And so I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, he looked at me and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me. And I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "Now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you." And he asked, he said, "Have you ever thought about playing the drums?" And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer." That moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time when somebody believed in me and he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world.
I love that video because it does show us what we need to do. It isn't the number of students who are going to move on to be a professional, or it's not the awards you win at the TWDs, or it's not that type of success. Instead, it's the impact that you have on that average kid in your dance class. Teachers are most effective when they recognize that all children deserve to feel special, whether or not they are the most talented. One of my rewards this past year was I was speaking at a thing out at Craigan's. It was kind of a big deal. It was with Rachel Cruz, and I was on a panel, and it went really well. And I get done, and this mom came up to me, and she was a mom of one of our special ed kids that we have in dance on Sundays. And she goes, I had no idea who you were when you were teaching my daughter's special ed class. And she just started bawling, and she goes, I can't believe that as busy as you are and that you're running this whole company, that you're teaching the special ed class on Sunday afternoons. And she goes, thank you. This has just meant the world to my daughter. And during all of COVID, she was the one that stayed till every class till the end of the year. Here's a little special ed kid, and every day she's logged in, and it really, really was touching. And I've always believed that it's possible to instill a passion for the art of dance in every child, no matter what their ability is and no matter what level they will achieve. And that's something we all need to keep in mind. When I was in high school, I started teaching at the YMCA. I was about 15. I taught 3 hours on Monday and 3 hours on Wednesday, and I got my very own key to the classroom in the YMCA. And I remember it being so cool. I got to open that door, and I'd go in, and I had a bulletin board. And I made my bulletin board from scraps and handmade things I drew and stuff I found. And I remember getting that room all ready for the kids. And I made up all my routines from records that my older sister had or my brother had brought home from the war, because I couldn't afford to go buy any records. So we danced and twirled to some really odd things. And I had to ride my bike to class. I did not have a car. And y'all know I love to twirl fire baton. And when I would twirl fire baton at the shows, I would have to bring my gas in my basket with my baton in my basket to head to the YMCA. I love teaching so much that I used to line up my neighborhood kids in the backyard and teach them routines. I lived on a dead end, and we would march around the little street. And when I got married, I taught baton in the front yard of my house that Steve and I rented, and I charged $1 per kid. This is before Just for Kicks, and it was on the front lawn. Then later, when we started Just for Kicks, it was called Mini Kicks at the time, I moved to the Brainerd High School lounge. There were no mirrors, no marley floor. When it got dark, we could see our reflections in the mirror, and that was our mirrors. The tuition at that time was $10 a month, you guys. That's what it was, $10 a month. And classes, Marnie pointed out to me today, were 2 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 2 hour long classes, $10 a month. I can still remember many of my students from those early years, and I've often wondered if any of them remember their dance lessons from all those years ago. Over 40 years ago, if you count my high school teaching, once in a while randomly, when you've been around as long as I have, you will get what I call a paycheck of the heart. Somebody will send you a note out of nowhere, or a phone call, or they'll call you up, and you'll find out that you did make a difference. And when I hit my 40 years, a lot of you guys will remember Carrie Cowell. She orchestrated any past students sending me a letter. And she was behind this, and oh my gosh, I was just blindsided when all these letters, and she had them mailed to her, and then she brought me this box of cards, and it was huge, it was really big. So on Sunday morning, the day after, the show was on Saturday, on Sunday, I sat in my robe with my coffee, and I read all those letters, and I literally just wept. It was unbelievable. And when I was going to do this talk, I pulled one letter out of that box without I just didn't even pick one. I just grabbed. And this one is from Jill Holman. She ended up being one of our captains. And she goes, Cindy, 40 years, what a milestone. I hit the same milestone this year in age. Maybe not quite as exciting as yours. I don't even know how to express how much your presence in my life has meant. From second grade into college, teaching at camp, you were my role model, mentor, coach, friend, and second mom. I wanted to dance the best, be the best, do the best for you and for Just for Kicks. I don't remember you ever getting mad or frustrated. Yeah, right. Though I'm sure you were sometimes. But your ability to be so full of optimism, enthusiasm, encouragement, and sunshine is amazing. It is the true meaning of what is called to be a coach. Beyond that, You are always our biggest advocate and cheerleader, and I always felt like you were just part of the family. Thank you. The memories I have from the years shared with you in dance are some of the fondest I will have in my life. Thank you for loving us all, for helping us feel confident and proud as young girls, and for taking us all into your heart. Your legacy will shine forever bright. Cindy Clow, love you always, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Love, Jill Holman. And that is just an example of what you can expect if you hang in for the long haul. I feel like so many people quit right before their ship is going to come in, or right before they're going to be successful. And if you treat every child as if they are special, if you convey the message that each of them means the world to you, what you give to them will come back to you. I guarantee it. It will come back to you. So right now, moving forward, here's one thing I want to talk about. I actually got this from Megan Hutton one day when I stopped down at the Medina studio, is I wanted, during this convention, I do not want to talk about what ifs. I don't want you to go, what if COVID reoccurs? What if we can't go back to class? We don't know that stuff. So I want no what ifs. And that's going to be a rule that we aren't going to go there. So, you know, I'm sitting here going, somebody asked me, what if there's no bowl game? Then there won't be a bowl game.
Right.
I don't know, you know?
Cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah, so right now, no what ifs. So we're not going to talk about it. So we all need to realize that you're going to be working harder right now than you have ever worked for less money. And I think it's something we got to think about. I know that I've been working way harder all summer, and not summer, summer's not over, all spring I meant to say, and into the summer than I've ever worked. And, you know, no money's coming in. We're actually just refunding constantly. So.
That's our lives.
Go ahead. So, that was a little delayed. All right.
We're trying.
We're working hard for the money, right? And we got to realize it's going to be that way this year. It is going to be. So the thing is, you guys, what would you rather do? Have your program crash and not have a program to come back to? So you've got to realize that you have to work harder than you've ever worked before. Get creative. Be able to roll with it. And if you're going to be, you know, part of a family's budget, you got to be worth it. And so that's a big thing to think about. Be worth it. So now moving on, we are going to go into Ask the Vet question.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, is this Ask the Vet?
Yep.
I don't have that sheet. Yes, I do.
It's in your, yeah.
Robin got me wrong.
Also, so if you want to be able to see who's on the screen, speaking of my pictures on there, if you're wanting to be able to see who's talking rather like than gallery view, if you go up in the right corner of your computer, you can switch between speaker view and gallery view, but you might want it on speaker view so that it switches as the different people are talking.
Cool. So, by the way, I didn't introduce myself to new people. New directors, I am Cindy Clow. And that was Allie Garrett's, my daughter, and people are going to be piping in here and there when we can. So the order that we're going to talk right now, Heather Daggett, where are you?
Unmute yourself. Yep.
So Heather's got to unmute, and on deck is Tanya Peterines. We're skipping Sandy because she didn't make it here on time. So where's Heather Daggett?
I'm right here. Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, unmute. So Heather's question is, what would you tell a new director about what it takes to develop a large program?
Well, I thought I was in for the long haul.
You gotta unmute.
I am on mute.
You would maybe have to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Can't hear.
Okay, I unmuted you. Now it works. Okay, you ready?
Okay, now I.
Oh,
hear
you know
me?
what? Everybody else thinking here, we all had our speakers muted.
Oh, we had to mute. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
All right. We had to mute our speakers because they were going like this. Okay, you heard
So
me.
I thought I was doing the question about being in it for the long haul.
That is it. You had mentioned something about being
Yep.
in it for the long haul. So it said, what would you tell a new director about what it takes to develop a large program and how long it takes and the long haul? And how long have you been at this?
This is okay, so 17 was 15 years. 18, 19, no, 15.
20. You're at about.
No, sorry, 15 years was 17. I was thinking when I do it with kids' milestones.
About 18.
So-
Okay.
15, 16, 17. This is 18. I just finished.
So,
Um,
go ahead.
So Cindy and I just talked one day because I said there's been directors trying to start programs around in my area a couple of times. And I feel like in my impression, they think they're going to have this huge program their first year. And they're going to be able to quit any other job they have and just do this. And it's just not realistic. And so I think it's really important, especially for new directors, if you are thinking this is really what you want to do, you have to be in it for the long haul. It took me 7 years till I was able to quit any other job I had and just do this. And even then, it was scary. And the reason I quit my other job was the financial crisis in 2008 happened, and I got laid off.
Oh,
And so it kind of, it's that whole the mother bird pushing her baby bird out of the nest. And I have convictions about why I'm doing and what I'm doing. And some part of that is if you're going in it and you're all in, it's going to come back to you. And I do feel like that when I quit that other job and went all in, everything kind of took shape. But I also think it's important not to think about that. You know, you obviously can't do that if you have 50 kids. But you have to be in it and you have to commit to it. And you can't think it's going to happen in a year or even 2 years. You know, most people, if this is part of how you support your family, you have to be able to be in it for the long haul. And you can't just give up, because you have to think about, Just for Kicks is investing in you. They've invested staff time in helping you with your facility, helping train you, helping equipment, all of the things. Sorry, just dropped something. There's also that financial piece they've committed to you, and you're responsible for that. And it's also committing to the rest of us. We're a whole group. And I don't know, is it appropriate for me to talk about like it's the commission part, how some of our money goes back to corporate. And so we're all buying into each other's stuff. Our piece that goes back to corporate supports everybody. And if you're just going to go a year and, oh yeah, I'm done, it's affecting everybody. So if you are wanting for it the long haul and you want it to be your job, you have to take time and be patient and just keep at it. And if you want it to be part-time and that works for you, that's great. So either way is fine. But you have to realize it's not going to be a year or two. It's going to take some time and commitment to make it work.
and I like the fact that you said everybody has to carry their weight. So,
Yeah.
you know, they do. So that's a great job, Heather. Thank you. Woo, Heather. All right. So next up is Tanya Peterines. She is going to be answering the question. You've developed several large programs. Give tips on how to be successful with Just for Kicks as your career. So where's Tanya?
I'm right here.
All right, Tanya. So go
Hi,
ahead.
guys.
Go ahead, Tanya.
Okay, well, I was actually talking with my husband about this last night, and I said, well, I feel like, how do I tell people how to build a large program, how to be successful? Because I feel like they either want it or they don't. I'm highly motivated and driven by success and money. So this, you know, that's what I'm driven by. But you also really need to be willing to learn and grow. And you can't just think that your way all the time is the right way. There might be different ways that will make you stronger and better. I wrote down, be good at your job, be fun, because people want to be around that. Kids want to be around that. Parents want to be around that. They keep coming back for that. I have trained a lot of amazing staff people. And if you have people that end up better than you, then you know you did a good job.
And that takes a secure person.
Yep. And I have many instructors that are directors now. So I pat myself on the back every time somebody becomes a director.
That's
Like,
what,
look it,
that's
I
what,
did that. I
that's
did
what the
that.
fly swatter is for. Everybody was wondering what the fly swatter is for. It's to pat yourself on the back. So go ahead, Tanya, because you
Oh my
can't
gosh.
reach your back. So pat yourself on the back with that fly swatter. There you go, girl. All right.
Right. Other things that have helped me is I have not been afraid to exhaust all options for advertising. I know a lot of people are afraid, like, oh, should I invest that money in this particular thing? Will it get me anything in the long run? You're only going to find out one way. You do it, right? You know, if you're thinking like this is, you know, way back in the day where we would place ads in the newspaper. It was like, do I put in that $65 for that ad? You know, and yes, you do it.
It takes
You know,
money to make money, right?
Yep, exactly. And my husband said, I think you should say, don't ever underestimate the power of your dance parents.
Oh,
Because one family, and I was like, yes, you are totally right. Because one mom could walk the entire community and she could tell 50 people about you. And if you are true to her and her kid and you are fun and good at your job, she is going to tell everyone that.
And if you are bad at your job,
She's going to tell
everyone that.
Yep.
Yep.
Twice as many.
Twice as many too.
So that's what I wrote down.
Tanya, yay, that's awesome. Okay, so up next, okay, on deck is Heather Summers. Performing for you now is Amy Gunderson. And Amy Gunderson, you run 3 successful programs. What gave you the courage and fire to run multiple programs? How do you keep it all together? Keys to success.
Yeah. So I started directing while I was in college, and then I added a second program the following year. And both those programs kind of put me through college. I ended up with not very many student loans. But my programs were pretty small, like 60 to 90 during college. And then after college, I started working a full-time job. So like 40 hours a week plus those 2 programs. And then the opportunity came up to add the 3rd program. And so what I did was just kept cutting down at the other job. I went down from 40 hours, 30, 20, realizing that I didn't need a full-time job and I could just teach my 3 programs and financially be able to make it. So then my daughter was born. I was able to stay home with her during the day and it was perfect. And my husband had quality time at night with both of our kids. And I know we all get torn with that, with being away from our families at night, but that quality time with dad is priceless that they get. So my keys to success, efficiency. I always strive to do everything in the most efficient way possible, to save myself time, mostly with technology. Use my time wisely. I work on my dance stuff while my family's gone out of the house, at school, working. And then when they're home, I try to focus on being with family. It's taken me a long time to figure out that balance, but I finally have that figured out now. I also strive with my programs to really make connections with dancers and parents. I think that's really important, and just going above and beyond with everything I do. With classes, I try to run them super efficient. I'm always like switching gears and we use every minute possible, and really try to use class so that kids don't get bored and do different things. I also surround myself with amazing directors from our area, and I actually have a few at my house right now together. But we all push each other. We push each other to be stronger directors, and we don't compete against each other, even though we physically do have a competition. But it's just nice to have those director friends. So I think that's a very important thing for all of us to have. And I think it's good to have a mix of older and younger directors, because the older directors have a lot of experience and wisdom, while those younger directors are giving new ideas and help finding music that's popular for your playlist. That was about it.
All right, that's great. Great. So on deck is Sandy House, and performing for us now is Heather Summers. And Heather from South Dakota, what has been your key to success in growing your program?
Hi guys. Sorry for the hat. I was at a tennis tournament in the sun and I'm a hot mess. But I would say the big thing for me was transitioning from a smaller program to a bigger program was that moment when you start really offering those multiple styles full season. And for me, sometimes it's not always just adding a new body of a person, but it's adding that kid that's taking multiple things. And that was a huge thing for me when I jumped from offering something from a special session to a half season and took that full season jump. My numbers jumped by almost 100 in 1 year when I added full season jazz, full season lyrical, and those types of things, because I kind of did baby steps with those. And I think that's a thing too, just getting the buy-in for those kids to do multiple things, because you're going to have those kids that are super dedicated, that are really willing to do that. I think too, getting that buy-in, and I know we've talked about this a million times, but telling a kid, hey, I've really noticed that you would do really great in this jazz class. I mean, even starting young, 2nd or 3rd grade. And parents love to hear that. The kids love to hear that. I don't know how many times we did that this year, and the next thing you know, a kid signed up for something full season that they'd never tried before. So to me, it's kind of stretching yourself, especially for those programs that are maybe only offering kick or some of those more basic styles, is really just taking that leap of faith and adding some of those classes, because it might not be body numbers, but it might be class registration numbers that really skyrocket. And that was my biggest jump for me at a point in time. Like I said, almost 100 a year when we went up full season jazz and lyrical. So I would say that would be a huge thing.
Did it happen right away, or did it take a little while?
Because I was already kind of offering some of those things like half season, it literally, I think 1 year was like 85 or 90 registrations just with offering a couple full season. It wasn't even all my age groups. It was just, maybe middles and juniors, and that was it. Okay. So to me, that was huge. So I would suggest it.
Great idea.
That's dabbling in it.
Great. All right. So on deck is Marnie Rohr. Speaking right now is Sandy House. And Sandy, your question that I have for her, and I got to tell you, somebody's doing a good job when you get a call from the old studio owner in the town, and she said, why did you come to Clarkston? I used to have a studio before Sandy House moved to town. So my question to Sandy is, how did you move to Washington and get over 100 kids in 1 year in a new city? Go.
Is she here?
She's here. I saw her.
Where are you, Sand?
Oh, she's muted though.
Do I have to?
Okay, there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, super. So the first thing I did is when I moved out here is I scoped out all the dance studios. It's a small town, and there was like 6 other dance studios here. So I found out, what was their strong points? What were their weak points? Do they compete? What is their cost of their programs? How long are their classes? What do their costumes look like? How often do they perform? So I wanted to know what I was getting into and what each studio did. The other thing I went into was I took a map and I looked at the location of all the studios. I did not want to be by any of the studios. Location for convenience for parents is huge. And that's the one thing that I found out about in St. Cloud. When we started there, we were in 3 corners and they were huge. And so people like location. And so I went to an area that there wasn't anybody in. 5 places are downtown Main Street, so I went way up on the other end, and that was huge for me.
Great point.
Advertising was a big deal. I did almost everything that when I direct, and I tell my people I field coordinate, I give you a whole list. I did it all. And it was really funny. It's because after I started doing this, now I'm seeing all the other schools follow suit. Like I do open houses. I go to the Boys and Girls Clubs. I do daycares. They never did any of those things. Now they're following right behind me. The yard signs. The biggest competitor immediately 2 months later had yard signs out. And she's never done it before. So all those helpful hints that we give you for advertising, you need to do all of them, because people have to see your name 3-4 times before they might even act on doing it. I also looked in the community. I wanted to have them perform at various places that it was always a different crowd. And when I performed, like say if I was performing down the street because we have a great big pumpkin palooza. I made sure I had Just for Kicks signs all over. I put the yard signs up. I put my big banner up. So anybody just walking down during this festival and they happen to see us, they could see that I'm Just for Kicks.
Great idea.
I also invested in my dancers, you know, and in my parents. I just made sure that they knew who I was there. I made it very personable, because the parents then end up recruiting people for me. They're like, oh, can I just bring a friend? It's like, yeah, you can. So knowing your parents, knowing their names, and treating the kids and having them have fun in your classes, yet still learning, was a big deal. And having my parents come in just the last 5 minutes and I tell them what we do, they're just amazed when they were at a different dance studio, because they're like, well, we didn't learn all that at the other dance studio in this amount of time. So they need to know like what you're doing in your classes. Also, another thing is that they were really shocked at how organized I was. You know, I right away handed out a calendar for September and October on the first day with all of their performances or tentative performances for the year. Here's what we've got planned. Pictures of the costumes, and they were like, this is just crazy. It was so organized. So I think all of those helpful hints was what helped me be successful.
Great ideas. Great ideas. So on deck is Susie Harper, and talking to us now is Marnie Rohr. And Marnie's question, I'll move out of the way, is what would your older self tell your younger self? And I will move so Marnie can get in.
Oh, wow.
I get like the chair.
I don't know why you're not taking over the screen right now.
She is. She is.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, it's still Sandy on ours.
Hi, you guys. I'm Marnie.
I'm gonna pin her since she's recording.
I think I took a long time kind of thinking about this because I really wasn't sure what I would tell my 22-year-old self. But I think the majority of everything that I wrote down and thought of had to do with worry and anxiety. And because I was such an overachiever and like trying to be Wonder Woman and trying to be a good wife and trying to be a good mom and trying to be a good director and trying to be a good field coordinator. Everything was a worry. Am I doing this right? Did I make the right decision? So I think if I went back, I would tell my 22-year-old self not to worry so much, because when you're 50, you still don't have it figured out and you are still going to be making mistakes, which brought me to, I feel like life is just a bunch of mistakes, and don't you feel that way? So you make a mistake, what do? You just make another decision and correct the mistake. And I feel like if I could have told myself that, just do it. Don't even worry about it. Just go for it. Because if it doesn't work out, you're just going to make another decision and you'll fix it because you know how to do that. So I think those going off of that worry, a few other things with that, go with your gut. There are times where people were telling me to do something and I was like, no, but I don't think that's going to be right for my program or for my kids or for my husband. I think it's this. Go with your gut, because 99.9% of the time it's going to work for you. Even if you're, taking a different path, or somebody that has a program like yours did something different, but you feel like this is going to work for you, then you do it. Go with your gut, because deep down and make sure you're listening to it. Make sure you're listening and you're not going so fast that you can't listen to it. Some that aren't work related that I would have told myself, you're only going to have a few friends that really truly want the best for you. Work at those friendships. They're worth it. I would, let's see.
That's very true.
It's making you cry.
Yep. You're making Cindy cry.
And then I'm going to get emotional on this one. The sacrifice when it comes to your family and your kids I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
I'm Morgan while you're talking.
I want to see your kids.
I'm looking at your kids.
If you're Marty's kid, shake your pom pom.
The sacrifice is worth it in the end to make good humans. So remember that when you're just focused on being an amazing director and an amazing human being, it's okay sometimes to put things down and focus on them, because when they're adults, it's worth it. The sacrifice of even maybe not working so hard, taking a second job, whatever that is, so that you're with them and can focus on them. The sacrifice that you will have will be worth it in the end. Love you guys, daughters.
I also think when Marnie's saying that, I'll just chime in on that you are also teaching your kids a lot by, I always tell this story that I always felt so guilty when I would go to camp. And I used to I'd go to BV, Buena Vista, every summer, and I'd always feel so guilty. And one time I asked Jared, what was your best vacation we ever did? Was it when we went skiing? Was it Disney? He goes, actually, my favorite thing was the Iowa camp. I used to just love going to the Iowa camp, getting my own tray and,
I loved it too.
skating around on the sidewalk, and it was just fun. That's what he loves. So don't always pack your bag for that guilt trip, because you're teaching your kids something. We all are in this together. So next up is Susie Harper, and she is going to talk about what gave her the courage to quit her day job.
Okay. So hello. All right. So can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So the one thing that I thought about that I kept coming back to was I was very comfortable when I started my program. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm comfortable. I do not ever want to be comfortable. And then it's like the worst thing ever, I feel like, honestly. So I really reevaluated from there. What do I want? My daughter was young and I wanted to see her, wanted to be with her when I could. So I started adding special sessions onto my core classes, and they filled. And so then the next year I added a full session of one, kept another special session of the hip hop, and everything just started growing. The numbers were growing. I mean, I had been growing double my numbers each year, usually just with core. But once I started adding that extra, you guys, it really started coming in on my commission. And it felt so worth it then. And I thought, I guess I was under the mind frame that I went to college, I have this degree, I need to do something with my degree. No, I don't. And how many people do you know really, really, truly do what their degree is and are happy, honestly? So I did the math. I think you need to do the math. I think you need to look at your numbers and look at where you can be and see if what just that little more push will do to get you there and what that bigger push will do to really put you through it. Because in the year that I stepped away, it's not coincidental. I mean, I bought in, and it was so the right thing to do because my program deserved that. My community deserved me really putting more effort in. So that year, I grew by over 110 that year.
Wow.
In classes. And so, it's not coincidental. That was the year that I had my highest growth and my lowest non-return ratio. All came in on that same year. And I absorbed the full-time salary I had with what I added to my JFK salary. So, I mean, you put in the work, the office puts in the work for you. If you put in the work for them, you guys, you see it so 100% back. And then I actually thought about this, and this is kind of a brutal honesty thing, is when I was still working that last year, I was a really bad employee there because I spent majority of my time doing JFK during the day. I was hustling customers, my coworkers. I was building while I was there. So what a waste of their money that was. But you know, it worked. You have to go for it. If you're there and if you think you're close, talk to your rep. Do the math numbers with us, because you guys, I tell you what, it's worth it. You just have to go for it. You have to be fearless and you have to be confident in yourself. And that's really my best advice to you. Woo!
Cindy, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. I just was going to say that when she was talking about hustling people, the other day I went to get a new phone, and by the time I left, I had the guy's kids signed up for dance. So wherever you go, you got to be talking about it. Okay, so now there's going to be some questions that are up for grabs for you. So not everybody can answer. This is any vet that's 10 years plus can answer these questions. So here are some of them. How do you stop comparing yourself to the program next to you or in the next city? So that's one of them. How do you stop comparing yourself to other programs? The next one is, what is your best get her done mentality? And the next one is tips on organization. I'm saying 3 so that people can be thinking about it. So how do you stop comparing yourself? What is your best get her done mentality? And tips on organization. Who's going to speak up first?
I will.
Okay, who's that?
Busy.
All right, Busy, go for it. Hi.
Hey, so hi. That first question you said about comparing, being in Blooming Prairie, having Austin right there, which is an amazing program. Everybody knows this. I did, like, every once in a while you'd get somebody that'd say, well, Austin, they're winning all the time, or Austin this or Austin that. And I think I would have to say, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, but the way that I would just kind of let that go is that, and part of it was I taught in Austin at one point, and then I taught in Albert Lea at one point. And being there, I learned that each town has their own culture. And I think you have to, kind of like what Marnie said about going with your gut and just nurturing your culture and just, what works for your town. So I think that just, you can't compare because it's obvious that, Albert Lea and Austin are within 15 miles of me on 2 sides. Well, even Owatonna, I mean, look how amazing they are. It's the same type of deal. I can't compare because they're not Blooming Prairie. They're a completely different town. So I think as long as you kind of think of it as an individual sense too, like you are your own program and you're going to go with what works for you, but also, don't compare and maybe look at them and say, that's a really good idea. Maybe I should try that too. Because that was something that I'm like, well, they do a mass routine. I've never tried a mass routine. We've never done one here or something like that. So I think thinking of yourself as an individual and just making sure that you try to grow your culture for your town, if that makes sense. Yeah? You're muted, Sand.
I almost swore. I almost.
Wouldn't have mattered because you were on mute.
It wouldn't have mattered. I was muted. All right. All right. So what is your best get her done mentality? Come on, somebody.
This is Heather. I have one.
All right, great.
And I have one for the other one too, the comparison one. But the best get her done, have a buddy, and especially having a buddy in Just for Kicks is super helpful because our job is so unique and you need to have somebody that you can have a meltdown with and then they can pick you back up again and say, okay, this is what you need to do. And having that extra one person you feel like you can go to that you can relate to is, for me, been really helpful. And one of the best pieces of advice that my one person who is that person for me gave to me was make a list, make the hugest list you have to, and put everything on it, even washing your windows. I want to clean my cupboards, even if it's personal stuff. Make it as big as you have to, and then just start ticking off one at a time. But for me, getting that stuff down on paper can get it out of my mind, and I don't have to worry about the list. The list is there for me, and I can just go at it one at a time. But I wouldn't have had that had I not have my person, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So finding a buddy, I think, is super important, or people you can talk to that, oh, this is not going well for me, and being that for being that support person for somebody else too. But then my other one about comparison, something I've really been trying to do for the last year is somebody gave me the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. And there are so many things we compare ourselves to because we're women and girls, and it just makes you sad. So I've really stopped trying to compare myself because it does. It takes away your joy in what you're doing. So try to just remember that little quote when you're comparing.
Oh, that's great. Okay, thank you. Tips on organization, anybody? Or tell us about a setback and how you overcame it. So who can tell quick tips on organization? I'll tell one while you're thinking. Touch it once. That helps you not procrastinate. To touch it once.
You should elaborate on that.
Well, I just mean, I can't see if I'm pinned right here, or I'm not pinned. I just mean that if I pick up something on my desk, I deal with it. And I try not to write a list that I'm going to do it later if I'm holding it in my hand. Yeah, I'm a list maker too, like Heather. I keep a lot of lists, but touch it once. Don't, my other thing is work ahead, work way ahead. Don't be working on what you're working on today. Be working on what's happening in a couple weeks, and start staging things so you're ready and you don't have that panic the day before something. Who else? Anybody?
I have one that came across with like online part of virtual classes and stuff. Okay. Was that making sure to not get super absorbed in emails right away at the beginning of the day. So I had told myself I'm not going to check my email till 10 o'clock in the morning, because if I checked it at 8 or 7:30, I'd be on it till 10:30 returning calls or returning emails of really little things that didn't need to be done right away. It was just then I'd see it and I'd want to get it out of my inbox. So that's what I would do when it didn't necessarily need to be done then, and it kind of absorbed my whole morning.
And that's one of the biggest hints they give you on any business book is you're giving your time to someone else when you do that. So your biggest thing, do your worst thing in the morning. Like they always say, eat that frog. Tackle your biggest thing in the morning and don't give your time away to someone else. And you don't have to check email every second of the day. You can do it like once at noon and then again at 3,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. except for you guys in the office, all right?
We can stick with our every
Can
other
anybody
day
tell
policy.
us about a setback that they overcame? Well, how about COVID? Okay, I could tell you a few, but go ahead. Anybody? A setback you overcame?
Like a parent you won over.
A parent you won over. Turning lemons into lemonade. Anybody can think of anything?
I can say something.
And who is it? Marisa.
I don't know why Cindy's computer isn't picking up.
So I had a mom who came in very upset. She was at another studio and like one of my competitions. And the long story short, the lady is giving us a hard time because all of her dancers are coming to me. So she has maybe, I think from her last enrollment that I've heard, she had like 4. And the majority of them are all dancing with me now. And a parent came and she was just like so upset, and not at me, but at the other studio. So she brought it to me and I didn't even know what was going on. So her guard was up, which is fine. I get like you're coming in, so you already have like a bad taste in like directors and stuff. Well, anyways, long story short, she just like was very negative to me every time they came in, and I tried to like, you know, feel her out and see what was going on, and anything that I would send out, she was there. I have a concern, or I have this. And so finally I kind of like pulled her to the side and I said, what's going on? Where's all this coming from? And she was like, well, it's just that the where I had my daughter dancing before, the lady, you know, took money from us, and, you know, I feel like maybe you're going to do the same. And I was like, well, this is not where I'm at. This is not what we do. This is not the energy that we're trying to bring. Like, so anyways, we got to talking and stuff. And then, you know, she dropped her daughter off. And then I guess maybe within that hour of being away from each other, she comes back after and she was like, Coach Phillips, can I talk to you? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And so she's like, I just wanted to let you know that, you know, you pulling me to the side like this just made me see that, you know, you really do care about my daughter. And, you know, thank you for, you know, being so open and so approachable and, you know, doing all this stuff. I just had like a bad taste, and it wasn't from you. It was from where I had my daughter dancing somewhere else. And I just thought that all of y'all were the same. And I was like, no, we're not the same. Like, please don't think that's not.
She didn't have trust. She didn't have trust in you.
Trust me. And that's exactly what it was. And now she's like a diehard JFK fan. And I always see her like sharing my post and just like, it worked out perfectly. Yeah, I was excited.
Okay. So I want to say one that I just had happened to me this week. So two things happen to me. Sometimes, okay, like I say, I've been at this for, it won't pin me again. I've been at this for a long time, and sometimes I don't realize how confident I've become over the years, and the you know what has, how I've grown. And the other day, our high school is being remodeled, and I had to go into the old vocational technical building, which used to be where my boss's office was when I first started coaching. And his name was Ron Stolsky. Some of you know him. He has spoke to you, and he's kind of an intimidating guy. And I remembered when I was walking up that sidewalk, because I hadn't walked up that sidewalk for like 30 years. And I went, oh my gosh, that's how I used to feel. If I were going in there right now, I wouldn't feel that way at all, because everything you do, you learn to become more confident. Every time you've had to look fear in the face and keep going, or every time you've had to tackle something and you've come out on the other side, better or worse, but you've done it, you grow and you get stronger. And it was just like a flood of emotions when I walked up that sidewalk a couple weeks ago. And then last Friday, I had another aha moment. Joel, my son, is president of Sports Boosters right now. Well, my high school team wanted to request some money from Sports Boosters. So he goes, I go, could you just ask for me? He goes, no, you're going to have to show up like everybody else. I'm not giving my mom favors, you know? So I went to Sports Boosters meeting, but I had not been in this little cafe called the Front Street Cafe where the Sports Boosters meet since many, many years ago. And one time in my early coaching career, the coaches were really mean to me in Brainerd. They were so mean to me. They were talking about me behind my back. They were causing me to have like, I don't know, they were just saying things like just not supportive and cutting down dance, that it wasn't a sport, and saying all this stuff. So, and they were talking that I was using the high school and I held my classes there and I wasn't paying rent. Well, that's because the school didn't want me to pay rent because I hardly got paid for coaching. But anyway, to make a long story short, I got sick of it. So one day I held a meeting with all the Brainerd coaches. Now I want you to think about this. I was probably 30 years old, and I called I sent out a memo, and I had every coach come to the Front Street Cafe, and they were around a table, and I said, I just want to tell you how hurt I am by how the stuff I've heard. I've heard this, I've heard that. I'm just a person trying to do the best job I can for these kids. And that was a turning point in my career at Brainerd and in my personal life, because I stood up for myself. You got to have some balls, people. I know we're women, but you know what I'm trying to say. You've got to stand up for yourself. After that day, I was respected because I didn't let somebody walk all over me. And I remember I walked out onto the sidewalk, and 2 different coaches come to mind. Jim Goglin was one, and he came and he hugged me and he said, I am so sorry I got sucked into all that.
Such a good guy.
He was a good guy, but he got sucked into it, you know? And so I just am saying, stand up for yourself, you guys. I like where Marissa was saying, she called that mom. You gotta, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. And I'm going to go into another case where I didn't. There was a studio in town that talked trash about me constantly. And I was taking the high road. I would never talk about them. I would never bring them up. But pretty soon I waited so long that people thought I was what she was saying, because I never fought back. So sometimes you do have to stand up for your name and just say, just to clear the air here, you know, and finally I did. And that was another turning point. So that's my only point there. So, all right. So does anybody 10 years or more, vets, I'm looking for you. Here's some different things. You could give one tip you'd give a new director, or you could give an empowerment tool like what I just did, or you could say, how do you stop that little negative voice in your head to move forward? Anything like that. What can you do that's made you stronger and more confident? So any of those, if anybody wants to speak to those.
I have something, Cindy. This is April.
Hi, April.
Hey, so I was thinking when I forgot who was talking earlier, but they said something about you're always, you know, thinking about your numbers and you have that goal and stuff. But I think you can't get too consumed with that and not focusing your energy on the people that you have committed to you now, because having your current customers happy and loving it is also going to bloom and expand your business too. And so sometimes, and I can be guilty of it because I'm very like numbers driven and like want to see things more, but if the people that you currently have aren't happy or they're, you know, coming and going, that's not going to help your numbers. So really making sure that you're providing an experience for your current customers that they don't want to go anywhere else and that they love it and they, you know, buy into the program is going to do great things too.
And that's
Amen to that.
Amen. That's a great point, because I'll tell you why. There's only so many kids you can go through. And if you're not providing that service, you're not going to retain them. So that's so true. Anybody else, vet people, that wants to add something?
Hey, Cindy. It's Megan. I can talk. Whoever just. Jess, you can go first.
Megan. Okay. Hi, Megan. Sorry.
Hi, I'll go after you.
Okay. Sounds good. Can everyone hear me? My Zoom is being here. Okay, good. So just kind of a tip for directors, and I guess it could fall under organization too. For a long time, for 8 years, I ran 3 programs, and now I run 2. But I found that it was really important for me to set office hours, because I was having a really hard time once I got married. And my husband had full custody of his 2 kids. So I got married and became a mom all overnight. And I had a really hard time balancing it, because before I was married, that's all I did was run my 3 programs. So I had to be really diligent about setting office hours. And these are the times that I am focused on work, and Just for Kicks was my full-time job already. So this is when I'm working and this is when I'm not. And then needing to communicate that to my parents, because they had all kind of already been babied to the fact that I answered my phone all the time. So making sure that I did that. And then as far as organization, especially when I was running 3 programs, I would set specific tasks for specific days of the week. And that's what I always did on that day of the week, so that I wouldn't miss something. And still now, even running just 2 programs, Monday is choreography day. I learn all of my choreography for the week on Monday. It doesn't matter if I'm not teaching it till Thursday. But I learn it all on Monday, so that way I know that that's done and I can check that off the list. And I just kind of split up my tasks like that. And then sometimes I'll do batch work, I'll call it. So my 2 TUTAS certificates, for example, I make those all at one time for the whole year. If they're all on Marcom, may as well just get it done. And then you're kind of in that, you can do it faster because you're thinking about that thing and your brain is like in that mode already, versus every 2 months having to go back and, oh, what did I do last time, and go back and forth. You can just get it done quicker. So I'll do that batch work. And then if you are, for any of you that might be multi-program or just going into that, I color coded things. That was something I learned from Julie Abraham. So I actually just picked, yeah. So like, for example, Becker's school color is blue. So everything that I do for Becker, it's like in a blue folder, and I use blue stickers, and I write, if it's a blue thing on like in my planner, I do like a planner, I write it in blue marker. And then Paynesville's school color is green. So then everything for Paynesville is green. And back in the day, I made Albany's purple or whatever their school color was. So that just helped me to keep those things like separate. And especially in the calendar, if you're physically writing it down, because I don't do Google Calendar and all that, I like to write it all out. But that way, if it's different colors, it's really easy for me to see what I'm doing and where I need to be. So that's my tip.
Great idea. And we did that in Brainerd for days of the week too. Those of you that aren't in 3 towns, but you maybe have 4 days. We did our stuff that way so we wouldn't get the days mixed up, and that worked good. So I love that idea. Anybody, Megan, you're next, right? Thank you, Jess.
All right, I've said this other times before, but I'll say it again because I think it makes sense. So my biggest tip would be is don't be afraid to fail. Sometimes you got to throw a lot of things up against the wall until something sticks. And the example I would give from my program is I kept offering hip hop special sessions, and I'd have like 5 kids. Well, I wouldn't cancel it. I'd teach it, so I wasn't paying anybody, and we'd do our 5 little kids, and they'd go out there at the spring show, woohoo! And then maybe the next year there might be 6 kids. Well, I would just finish my 13th year, and we were at, I think, 225 full year hip hop dancers because we never stopped. So I just think it's a really good thing. And I think more than ever this year, I think we're going to have to keep that in our heads is we're going to have to try stuff we've never tried before. And there's going to be stuff that doesn't work. And we have to be okay with knowing that it fails. That doesn't mean that you fail. So that would be my tip.
That would be good. All right, so I'm just gonna say, I think we all need to stand up for a second because we are getting glossy. So let's get your pom-poms. And by the way, when somebody says something good, you're supposed to be doing this too.
I've been shaking my pom-pom like a crazy girl.
So they know we're clapping. So they know we're clapping for them.
All right.
I was in the meeting.
She's gonna try to. Okay, everybody get up. Get up, get up, get up. And you're gonna move a little bit.
So we put our hands up like the ceiling can
then
hold
sing a little bit.
us. Like the ceiling can hold us. We go back. This is the moment.
I can't see you moving.
Until it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can hold us. Like the ceiling can hold us.
Ready and fade. All right, so that was just to wake us up. All right, so now we might go back to some of those in a moment, but we are, I thought that was great. You guys, I thought there was so much great advice there. So next,
I agree.
What I want to say is get out your fly swatter or your rooter palm. I need my fly swatter, people.
Right here.
Okay, so the next section is called Pat Yourself on the Back. And this is only going to last minutes. So get your thing out so you're ready. And we want to see people doing this. And we're recording so we can see if you do this. So pat yourself on the back if you were one of the brave ones that held online classes. Give yourself a hoot and holler and pat yourself on the back.
Yay!
Woo! All right. Give yourself a pat on the back if you have anyone registered for next year. Woo! All right, give yourself a pat on the back if you have anyone who has ordered their costume yet. Woo! All right, how about if you have anything scheduled right now for summer and you have people signed up to go or are going, go. All right, how about if you shared the virtual camp post that I lost my mind about? All right, on your mark, get set, Pat.
Everybody.
I'm just saying I had a moment that day and I'll explain. You have no idea the meaning of stress. So
Yeah.
I'll explain that later. Remind me if I don't. Okay, if you reached out to your non-returns right now, pat yourself on the back.
Whoa.
I'm a wah. I haven't done that yet. Okay, this is a personal one that I'm just asking and I can't do this patting. Pat yourself on the back if during COVID-19 you did not gain weight.
Wow. Oh, wait, me.
I like just saying, okay, pat yourself on the back. Since COVID now started, have you gone back to a normal level of drinking? That's just supposed to be funny. Okay.
If you're pregnant, I feel like
Yes,
you
better not be
should
doing
have
that if
been
you're
waiting.
pregnant. Okay,
Brooke,
so
pat that back.
now here's another one. Pat yourself on the back if you have reached out to your returning kids and have and that's the exact thing that April Mapes was saying. If you have reached out and made them feel valued, pat yourself on the back. We did that. Yay. Oh, I cut my hair. All right. Now we are moving into the next section called Ring Ring. And this is going to be fun. Now I need to, have you checked if all these people are on here?
I think they are.
So Carly, I'm just going to go over the order so these people know, because this is going to be weird. When the phone rings, you have to answer the phone and say, you know, who you are.
Like, hello, this is Allie from Brainerd Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Your most professional voice.
Yes. So the order is going to go Carly Hager, Ricky Lean, Kristen Randall, April Mapes, Larissa Rosno, Bethany Morrissey, Dorian Shogren, Naika Carter, Jess Karsh, Lori Cinnamon, Michelle Stocker. Sorry, I can't go this fast.
Oh, they're worried you maybe didn't fix your booklet.
No.
Oh, am I in the wrong order?
Keep going. No.
Keep going. You're okay.
Erin Lucina, Cindy Cloud, be ready. Steph Work. I have Ficket stories for you, Steph. Okay, Christina Sano.
That's me.
Molly Reinhart, Marnie Rohr. That's Jill Leslie. Sorry, it was Jill Leslie. You're before Marnie, and then Marnie,
Yeah, then Megan.
and then
Megan.
Megan Hutton.
Yep.
Okay, mine was wrong. Okay, so here we go. Now, how is this going to work, guys? Here, I'm worried that we're going to have feedback and stuff.
Nope.
We're not?
We're gonna
Okay.
be great.
So yeah, we'll mute the computer.
Are they going to hear me ask this then?
You don't have to ask anything.
Okay.
You don't gotta do nothing till it's your turn, right? Oh, wait.
I need
Yours
to say
is
Carly's
unmuted,
up
right?
next.
You can just yell it and then mute.
Carly, you're up next. Here we go.
But we.
Oh, wait.
You have to unmute your computer.
Hello, this is Carly Hager with North Fargo and South Fargo Just for Kicks.
Yeah, hi there. This is Mrs. DeFleur, Grace DeFleur's mom. Yeah, see, I'm trying to keep calm here, but I am extremely upset that Grace did not make the A team. I'm just confused. She is definitely one of the best dancers in her age group. Could you please explain to me what you were watching during tryouts?
Well, thank you, Mrs. DeFleur, for calling. I appreciate being able to talk to you about this. We're really proud of all the hard work that Grace put in this season, and it was great to see all the improvement with her skills. When it comes to placement, we created our placement classes so that we can better provide a better environment for learning for all of our dancers. And right now, Grace's level just isn't quite to the same level as all of our A kids, but we want to make sure that we are nurturing her environment, and we want to make sure that her skills are getting better. So what we're going to do is we would love to have her take a leadership role on our B team so that we can make sure she's learning at the pace and an environment that she wants. And then that way we can come together and make a plan if her goal is to make that A team, and we can work together to see if we can get her to that goal for next season. So, you know, if she was on the A team, she'd be stuck in that back corner and you'd be calling me every week complaining that you can't see your kid information. So this way we're going to put her front and center in that B team. Bye. Thanks for calling.
Right.
That was good.
Woo, that was great. That was great. Next up is Ricky Lean.
Hello, West Fargo Just for Kicks. This is Ricky Lean. How can I help you?
Hey, this is Attitude. I am just calling because I just saw the newsletter. I never got it before. And I see that the show is scheduled for Sunday, May 2nd. That is just not going to work for us. My older daughter is getting confirmed that day. So is there any way that you can change the show day?
Thanks for calling. Unfortunately, it's not possible to change the show day. It's been on the calendar since the summer, and it has been in every newsletter. What we could do for you is if you let me know when she's being confirmed, I could try to put her in the latest show possible that day, because we'll have 3 and the order isn't set yet. And you could try to make both events work. Otherwise, I want to welcome you into class the day before the show, and you can record her doing her routines, since we're going to be doing all of them anyways, and you'll get to see those final routines that way. Thanks so much for calling, Attitude, center of the universe.
Next up is Kristen Randall.
Hello, this is Kristen with Windsor Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Hello, this is Mrs. Front in the front. I'm just really upset. My daughter, every time you have a new routine, she's always in the back row, and I'm wondering if you could put her in the front next time.
Well, hello. Thank you for reaching out to me. I definitely appreciate you coming to me with this concern. I always say I can't fix what I don't know. So thank you for bringing this to my attention. We really tried hard to rotate the dancers to different spots in choreography and highlight them at the strengths that they have. Your daughter can't dance. I mean, Candace is awesome at facials, and I noticed in hip hop she really shines. What do you feel her strengths are? And then I would let them tell me their strengths, because when you address their concerns, then you give them their strengths, because parents love to hear great things about their kids, and then put the question back on her, because most of the time they have no idea what their strengths are in dance. They just see that they are in the back row, and by asking her, it shows that maybe that she can see what her strengths or the weaknesses are. Hello? Is it on there?
Next up is April Mapes.
Thank you for calling DeKalb Just for Kicks. This is April. How can I help you?
Hi there. This is Willie Make It. I am Hope's dad. She is having so much anxiety over tryouts. Is there any way to reassure her that she will make the A team?
Hi, Willie. Thank you for reaching out. I understand that there's definitely some added stress and anxiety when it comes to any sort of tryout, but I think it's important to remember that the whole concept of us leveling our classes is to ensure that we're giving Hope and her teammates that they are placed in the most beneficial class for them and are able to be pushed to their maximum potential. There are multiple factors that we do take into consideration, as we are not solely judging her on her performance at tryouts. Her previous commitment, her work ethic, and her previous performances will also be considered. I will make sure to go over these judging criterias with the girls at tryouts. But for now, I think it's just best that Hope tries not to stress and then continues stretching and working on all of her skills at home. I know she's going to do great.
Next up is Larissa Roseno.
Hi, and thanks for calling Just for Kicks. This is Larissa. How can I help you?
Hello, this is Seymour Butts. We just got the new costumes, and I feel they are so scandalous. My daughter is a bigger girl, and when she bends over, well.
Oh, wow. Well, I can understand why you wanted to give me a call today, Mr. Butts. Well, I have a few ideas for you. One thing that we can do possibly is, and you weren't clear on which part of her body you're a little worried about when she bends over. I don't know if it's the front or the back. But if it's the front, what we can do possibly is, I know the phone number and name of a great seamstress, and we could possibly get a flesh colored panel to put over the top, or we could even do that in the back. We could add flesh colored like bike shorts or even leggings all the way down. So if she felt a little uncomfortable in the back, she could do it that way. But I do understand your concern, and we could, if the uniform's too small, perhaps we should get a bigger one, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing that we can do, is try a bigger uniform, especially if it's a little, if she's bending over and it's in the back is the problem. But I do think that we can do some kind of problem solving here for her and make her feel very, very comfortable. Our uniforms are typically made to fit lots and lots of different body types. But if she's a body type that it doesn't necessarily look very flattering on, we can do something about that and help you out with that. So thank you so much for calling me, and I really appreciate your input and your feedback on that, and we'll do what we can to help you have her feel much more comfortable. Thank you.
Yay! So next up is Bethany Morrissey.
Hello, Just for Kicks. This is Bethany. How can I help you?
Hi, it's Betty Won't. I'm calling because I'm feeling like you're kind of punishing my daughter. She's not able to go to the next upcoming competition. And so in the last class I saw you made her stand and do the dance on the side. And I just feel like that's like really mean and a punishment. Could you please explain to me like why she doesn't get to be in the formation with the other kids?
Yeah, hi Betty. Thanks so much for calling. I really appreciate it. Susie does fantastic in class, and I'm so thankful that you sent in that RSVP 2 months ago in regards to her not being available at that competition. So it allows me to better prepare the team as well as Susie as we move forward. So probably what you saw was me pulling her aside to provide feedback actually to her team and to help me coach, making sure that they're performing well. Maybe we're working on their sharpness for that day. I feel like there's a lot of great things that dancers can learn by observing. It also allows her to understand and her team to understand the importance of Susie as a dancer in that role. And so we can't wait to get her back into that formation as we prepare for that nationals competition and bring that team all together, because not only do we want to grow just Betty, we want to make sure the team is successful as well. So teamwork makes the dream work. Thanks so much for calling. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Next up is Dorian Sjogren.
Hi, thank you for calling Just for Kicks. This is Dorian. How can I help you?
Hello, this is Calculator. I am Penny Pincher's stepdad. I am appalled that I have to pay for 2 shows. My daughter is in both shows, so I don't want to pay twice to see her. Money is tight.
Hi, Cal. Thanks for calling me. I'm sorry that you're upset. Yes, you do have to pay for both shows that you want to attend. When we host these shows, there are many expenses that go into them. We have rent, custodial fees, we have to pay our staff, music, decorations are just a couple of the things. We have to pay for them for both the shows to cover those costs. We also have limited gym space. If every parent came to every show, there is no way we'd have enough seating. Penny is performing the same routine at both shows, so at either show, you would get to see her dance. We are hoping that parents can pick one show to attend rather than attending them both. I know sometimes parents do like to attend. If you're worried about her being alone, we always have staff with dancers from their arrival until the end of show. I also hope that you are taking advantage of our discount By buying the pre-sale tickets, you'll save some money rather than buying them at the door. And also, I hope you saw my email that I'm looking for parent volunteers to help before the show. I'm offering 2 tickets to get into the show of your choice. If you want to volunteer an hour of your time, then your shows would be covered. Let me know if you'd like to volunteer. Thank you for calling.
Now, next up is Nika Carter.
Hello, this is Nika Carter with Weatherford Just for Kicks. Can y'all hear me?
Hi there, it's Eileen Dover. I'm calling for all the moms. Everybody's talking, and I said that I would be the spokesperson. I am definitely not one to complain, so I hate to be that parent, but here I am calling for everybody else. We think all the costumes are a little too low cut this year. My husband Ben also thinks so. We're just really wanting to see what you have to say, and if there's anything that we can do about this. Everyone's concerned.
Well, Eileen, I'm so excited that you called and gave me this concern. And I appreciate the fact that you are the spokesperson for all the moms. And when you say all the costumes, are you talking all of the classes, or are you talking about a specific class? I would like to be able to address each costume individually. But having said that, I want to make sure that you all realize that JFK Custom makes all the uniforms to fit every single child. And I would like to have a dress rehearsal where we can bring all the kids in, look at the costumes to see if all of the costumes are fitting properly. If they're not, we can make exchanges. We can make you feel very comfortable with all of that. We also have opportunities to add maybe mesh linings underneath to cover up any inappropriate looks. We certainly do want the kids to all be covered properly, and we want them to feel confident in their uniforms. We also have other things that we can also add, like a nude leotard, or we can add maybe a sports bra or something that we can even add to our costumes to make the children feel as comfortable as possible. But my biggest thing is, let's all get together. Let's all decide on a solution, bring them in a dress rehearsal. We can look at them all together, and we can solve this together. Thank you for calling, Eileen. I appreciate it.
Next is Jess Karsh.
Hello, you've reached Jess at Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Well, hello there. This is Justin Case. I am the spokesperson for all of the other parents. No one is brave enough to talk to you, but they all think it. At the TWD, we feel you gave the best routine to the other town. They always get the better routine, and they beat us.
Thank you so much for coming to me with your concern. I really appreciate that you were brave enough to speak with me. I want to let you know at Just for Kicks, teams are not judged on choreography. There is no list of required skills or kick sets that each team has to do. So for example, one team having more kicks in their dance does not affect their placement. Rather, teams are judged and scored on how they do what they do. As we discussed at our TWD parent meeting, for the kick category, they're judged on kick form and height, technique and style, timing and force of moves, execution, presentation, and difficulty. The song choice, costuming, theme of their dance, and their tricks or crowd-pleasing moves have no bearing on their scores. I do also want to assure you that I try really, really hard to choose routines that highlight each individual team's skill set. I try to pick something that fits the personality of the team, all while challenging them and also showcasing their strengths.
Next is Lori Cinnamon. Lori?
Hi, this is Lori from the Streeter Just for Kicks program. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm behind Beatrice Hind, yes, correct. I'm calling because my daughter was told she cannot compete this weekend because I've not made my payments. Are you guys all about money? Like, aren't you thinking about the kids here?
Hi, well, I'm glad you called. Yes, it is a JFK policy that all fees must be paid in full to participate in class, performances, competitions, and events. Just for Kicks strives to offer affordable prices on our classes, costumes, and event fees. Not sure if you have ever broke it down, but taking an hour of dance class per week is only $8.75, which is probably less than what you spend on those Starbucks drinks I see you bringing in every night during drop-off. Oh, does Starbucks make you pay for those drinks? Or do you like to run a tab for every month like you do for dance classes?
Oh, Lori, only you. Next up is going to be Michelle Stockert.
Hello, this is Michelle with Bismarck North Just for Kicks.
Hello, this is Ivana Tinker. Yes, I am calling because I know your cutoff for dancing is 3 years old, but you see, my daughter is a very gifted 2-year-old. Yes, she just turned 2 last week. She's almost potty trained, but I'm wondering if she could join the class for the 3-year-olds.
Thank you for calling me to inquire about Just for Kicks. What is your daughter's name? Olivia? Okay, well, the answer to your question is complicated because every child is different and you know your child best. My general policy is that in our 3 to 5-year-old class, dancers should be 4 by November 1st. So that makes Olivia too young. The Tiny Kicks class is for those dancers who are not yet in kindergarten, which means it can have kids who just missed the cutoff and turn 5 in August or September. The class is geared more for those dancers who will be entering kindergarten the next year. And as you probably know, there's a big difference between a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. In my experience, kids who are not yet ready for a structured group activity can have a bad experience and get turned off to dance, which is definitely not the outcome we want. Having said all that, I have had some 3-year-olds who were more ready than some 5-year-olds, so sometimes it's a judgment call on our part. Since she would only be 2 at the start of the season, my advice is to wait a year. Thanks for calling.
No, she's not.
All right.
Hello, this is Ivana Tinker. Yes, I am calling because I know your cutoff for dancing is 3 years old, but you see, my daughter is a very gifted 2-year-old. Yes, she just turned 2 last week. She's almost potty trained, but I'm wondering if she could join the class for the 3-year-olds.
Okay, so now next up is Erin Lacina.
Hi, Just for Kicks. This is Erin. How can I help you?
Good afternoon. This is Owen Alott. Can you please explain to me why my child has to sit out of class because she hasn't paid?
Well, thank you for calling, Owen. I really understand your concern. First off, could I assist you in getting your account paid up today? Then we wouldn't have to worry about this happening again in the future. I can give you the website or the phone number where you can pay by credit card, or even better yet, I can help you get set up for auto pay so that this, doesn't come up again in the next months here. Well, no? Okay, well then, while we're in the business of teaching kids and while we want to do everything we can to empower kids and give them a fun activity and a fun place to go, we are in fact a business. We provide a service and a product for which we need payment. to compare us to a more common business, a person couldn't walk into Target and take a product with a promise to pay later. I know you're doing everything you can to settle up your dance bills, and I greatly appreciate that. It'll help me to pay our programs, payroll, and bills too. Thank you for all that you do for Susie. She's just blossoming this year, blah, 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 blah. You got to gush over Susie. Then they'll be happy to pay.
Next. Whoops. Next, it's me. Everyone else doing it. Sorry. Hello. This is Cindy Clow at Brainerd Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Hi, yeah, it's Maxie, Maxie mom. I'm calling because I was watching class last night, and I think it's pretty ridiculous how big the class is. I think you need to divide it or something, or get more teachers, because 30 kids in a class, it's just not working.
Well, thank you so much for calling, Maxie. Actually, 30 kids in a class is what we strive for, if not more. We really feel that our formations are enhanced and our choreography is enhanced from, we create our routines to look down on. So the more kids we have, the better that it looks and the more exciting it is for the crowd. And I've been teaching for 40 years, and I really feel that the larger the class, the better the kids pay attention, because the more strict I have to be to keep them on task. So sometimes I find my smaller classes get less done because it gets a little too personal. So I'm handling 30 kids just fine, I feel. And, we do have assistants. You had mentioned that you didn't think we had assistants, but I bet they're between the rows and you haven't seen them. They're in there helping me. So we definitely do have assistants, but we want to meet your needs. And if you feel your child is not learning something, please then come and tell me afterwards. But I feel like I'm covering all the material I need to cover every week, and I feel like they're getting just so far. But thanks for calling, and I hope you understand.
Oh, sorry, bud.
I was gonna say. Yeah, we were gonna add that child is playing Minnie. Minnie is paying minimum attention. Okay, so next up is Steph Work. Steph Work. Does anybody want to just take this call on a cold call and just see how they do?
I can.
Anybody?
Sandy?
Sandy?
She popped up on my screen.
Okay. And to you're just gonna pick somebody that's scary. Well, I'll take it. I don't care.
I'll click send.
Morgan, your mom said you should do it. Morgan Roy, your mom volunteered you. So Morgan, here we go. Get ready. Answer the phone when it rings.
Just for Kicks, this is Morgan. How can I help you?
Hi there, this is Hans Off. Wow, was I blindsided today? I had no idea there's a show tomorrow. Our nanny brings our child each week, so how was I to know? I feel like I never know what is going on.
Hans, I'm so sorry to hear that you didn't know we had a show tomorrow. I just want to double check with you first before I get going. Do you get my emails of my weekly emails? I do send one every week. And this show has been on our schedule since April. Since August. I know this is a May show. It's been on our schedule all year. I want to make sure that you have seen that as well. Do you follow us on Facebook? I'm just letting you know I do very strong in communication, and I feel that I've really put it out there a few times. Let me get this information for you, and get her dancing tomorrow.
Right, next up we have Christina.
That's great.
Good afternoon, Just for Kicks. This is Christina. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Ross Turr. I'm calling straight to the home office because I never get the emails.
Hi, Ross. Thanks for calling. I'm pulling up your account here. That's weird. It appears you're not actually registered for any classes. Correct. If you're not registered, you don't get the correspondence. Why don't we get you registered and then you'll start getting those? Is that all of them? No, more. Molly. Next up is Molly Reinhardt.
Hello, this is Molly from Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Anita Favor. Yep, Carol's mom. I just was calling with a special request. I'm wondering if you could please not put her next to Pixie Stick. Yeah, you know, Carol's a little bit bigger, so it makes her a little self-conscious standing next to Pixie. So is that an option? Could you just not ever stand by her in any formation?
Well, thanks for getting a hold of me. I'm sorry your dancer is feeling this way. Formations are normally moving around a lot. They're normally not in the same spot for more than a couple seconds. And I really try to put kids based on their strengths and their weaknesses. And so I hope you know that if they do get near each other, that it's because I think that's where they're going to thrive best. And I try to do what's best for the team. But if there's any underlying issues, like she's getting bullied or anything like that, please let me know. Thank you for making me be aware of this situation. And let me know if there's any other issues. And then I hang up the phone and then to my husband.
All right. Next up is Jill Lesty.
Hello, this is Jill with Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Yeah, hello there. This is Willy Waddle. I am Shirley's grandpa. I cannot go up the bleachers, and I was mad at the show that I did not know there was a handicap seating until after.
Oh, Willie, I am so sorry that happened to you. Next time, please have Shirley give me a heads up that she is going to need some additional handicap seating. We all know how important grandparents are to every show, so we always have plenty available. I'm so sorry you never found a staff member to assist you. Next time, I would love to purchase your ticket to come to the show so you can come and enjoy Shirley's performance. Best of luck with your next hip replacement. Thank you for calling, and goodbye.
Woo, good job. Yep, next up is Marnie Rohr.
Just for Kicks, this is Marnie.
Hello, this is Shikyor Bhuti calling. I am calling after watching your recent show yesterday. I am a little upset after seeing my daughter in her hip hop dance. Very, very provocative. I did not like the movements of them shaking their booties. If you could please answer why you have them be so provocative. I just do not like it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mr. Your Booty. With a name like that, I would think you would welcome a little shake in action. Thank you, Sheik, for coming to me with your concerns so we can talk them through. What moves did you see that really concerned you the most? You know, with hip hop, we try to get the dancers to loosen up a bit with the style of hip hop that we are doing. We want dancers to hit moves hard. So maybe those are situations that you're concerned about. I do understand
so we will be looking at the moves and double checking them, and maybe we need to tweak them a little bit. But I do really appreciate Sheik. You giving me a call.
Just saying, sorry if this is getting kind of long, but these are questions that you are going to be asked over and over.
That's
and I
what
think
somebody
we're
just
pretty
said.
darn creative with these names. But the last, but certainly not least, is Megan Hutton Raby. Is it Raby or Rabe?
Raby.
Raby. And she is going to answer the last one.
Hi, this is Megan from Medina Just for Kicks. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Robin Banks. I'm just calling. I want to sign my daughter up for a bunch of classes, but we can't really afford it right now. So I'm wondering, like, do you offer any scholarships or like free classes for kids that might need it?
Hey, Robin, thanks so much for calling. I think it's really great, actually, that you called Just for Kicks. We are such a cost-effective studio here in the Metro, and so I think it would be that's a really good thing that you called us. I'll tell you right now, Just for Kicks doesn't have any sort of scholarships, but I do know that a lot of local groups like Rotary or Lions or Lioness do offer a lot of scholarships for the youth in our area. So I think it would be great to give them a call, look into their scholarship programs. While you're at it, you might want to just go onto our website and look at the classes we offer, see which ones you'd like to take. And once you find out some more information, you can go ahead and register online, and we can't wait to see you at the studio.
You guys, you just exceeded our expectation with these answers. And it was neat to have so many people involved. And boy, I hope you are taking notes so that you can, you know, answer your own questions. Couple takeaways. Almost, I think every single person said, thank you for calling me, and repeating the question back gave them a little time to think. And because you're not going to know what you're going to get hit with, and know that you can always say, you know, we didn't have to do this because everybody except for Morgan knew the question that it was going to be. So you might sometimes say, gee, thank you for calling. I need a little time to think about that. Can I call you back tomorrow?
Oh, I like that.
That's okay when you get those strange questions, which you may get. Yep. So right now what we're going to do is take like a 5-minute potty break, get water, get up and stretch. And then we're going to go into Kristen Randall speaking. She's last year's director of the year, and she's going to speak in 5 minutes. So right now it is 7:23. So we'll be back at you at 7:28.
Perfect.
Did I add right?
You did great.
Great.
I'm going to just put that slideshow back on. Is that fine? Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, it is now time to bring to the stage
No, she's good.
Kristen Randall, our Windsor, Colorado director. I can't see myself, but I don't, am I on there?
Yeah, you're always on there, even if you can't see yourself. Oh, no. Yep, this is the first time that, yeah, okay.
All right, guys, now it's time to bring Kristen Randall to the stage. She's coming up front. We're at Madden's and visualize, and she's going to speak. So she was last year's Director of the Year. So give it up for Kristen Randall.
Thank you, thank you. Oh boy, why?
Can't hear you.
Just wait, we'll unmute you.
Oh, I have unmuted myself. Can you not
She's
hear me?
unmuted.
Okay.
Do we just have all of our speakers off again?
Is hers off?
All right, Kristen, you go for it.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so, oh boy, why was this year my year to do this speech? The most difficult and challenging year as a program, and my most challenging year personally. I've asked myself why many times this year. I still don't have the answers for hardly any of my whys, but I think I have a little idea about the purpose. Right now, as I was writing this, I was sitting in our parent area watching 10 girls dance their ever-loving hearts out to a combo in a studio that just last week was empty, silent, and dark. Now has more life in it than I've ever seen before. I truly believe everything happens for a reason, and that it delivers a purpose we will learn from and appreciate for a lifetime, but over time. When we are in the thick of it, in the hard, gut-wrenching, cry your eyes out phase, it's hard to see through the muck. But that's where we grow, that's where we learn, and that's where we rise up. Every single one of us is strong, determined, and badass. Yep, this season had a horrible ending, and unfortunately, we're still in the muck. Although the ending of the season was hard, most of it was my most successful as a program. How can one year be so great for me career-wise, but it was my most challenging year personally? Some of you are mothers. I have a 17-year-old son that dealt us with a set of cards I was never prepared for. But as we managed to crawl our way through it, sorry. Okay, sorry. I knew I was going to cry, but here we go. Okay. So, as we managed to crawl our way through it, it has taught me more than I could ever have imagined. As Helen Keller once said, character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, and ambition inspired, and success achieved. Nothing comes easy. We all know that. I am the story that with hard work, your success will come. My Windsor program started with 14 dancers in a 6-week special session over 10 years ago. I reached my highest this season and had over 900 full class dancers. Goals are what kept me going. I will never forget my first convention. I roomed with Erin Lucina. I remembered that at the time I had 50 dancers. And I was constantly asking her questions, my shy, timid self asking her tons of questions on how she got there. And I remember her response of how many students she had, and it was in the hundreds. So I kept setting those goals, and each year I always called them my realistic goals and my top goals. Pretty soon I was consistently hitting that top goal, and that was because of pure hard work. Cindy and Steve know this very well. My parents did too. I lost my dad 11 years ago. I was so close to my dad. That day I lost a piece of me, but little did I know one of my dad's signature traits would evolve me into who I am today. He always told me to work hard, well, and to pray, but remember, hard work beats talent any day. My dad was not a college graduate, actually never even a high school graduate, but he was the man that would work for free for a family who couldn't afford to pay him, help the elderly, give the shirt off his back to the homeless, and sit and speak to the lonely and teach little children about God. I didn't see it then, but boy, do I see it now. It wasn't until his funeral service that I realized how many people he impacted. This was a huge Catholic church that was filled, the balcony, the basement, and the streets were lined with people outside for 2 blocks. They couldn't see or hear anything in the church, but they were there because of the pureness of my father. From that moment, I knew I wanted to have the impact on lives the way he did. So when I'm at the studio, I make it a point to speak to that dancer that just walked in and is so incredibly shy and knows no one. I make it a point to ask my high school dancers what is wrong or bothering them because I can tell they've been crying. I sit with that mom in the waiting area and tell her how great her family is because I can tell she's doubting herself. Do the little things. That is where the hard work comes in. Go set up that booth for the 1000th time. Go do another free class at a daycare. Put in the work, and it will come back to you. The last thing I want to touch on is your team. Who is on your team? I always was the one who thought I could do it all myself. I would run myself ragged just to say what? I did it all myself. The only one that hurt was me. My team has helped me build and succeed. As Mother Teresa said, none of us, including me, ever do great things, but we can all do small things with great love, and together we can do something wonderful. Isn't that what we all do? We love teaching children. We love dance. The people that stand with you are so extremely important in your life. My husband, he has been my rock since I was 15 years old. My family, this is hard. My staff, and the one that introduced me to this great company, Rhiannon, who's actually sitting right next to me. They have been there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. They are the ones who helped build you as a person and in your career. I remember Cindy saying, "You never want to be the smartest one in the room." I will never forget that. I thought, well, yes, I do. I want to be the best. I want to be the smartest. And yes, now I totally understand why. Your team, all of us, are great at different things. And oh man, how I appreciate that now. Our Just for Kicks family is made up of so many wonderful personalities and talents that is led by the 2 most hardworking, humble, kind people I know. I traveled to New York with Steve and Cindy last August. And that is when I really came to appreciate so much about them. They would be in the midst of setting up a booth. Cindy would be typing a lecture for a class she was giving. Steve would be on the phone call, and I remember him having a sick family member at the time. They were dealing with it all, and never once did I ever see them not answer the phone when it rang, not answer a question someone had. Their kindness and want to help the people in their company is unreal. Then I realized, because I know my dad is like a super angel in heaven, I just know it, his love for God was unreal. He put them in my path. He knew if he couldn't be here, he would put people in my path that demonstrated the kindness and the hard work I saw in him. Well, now it's my turn. It's my turn to be the one who shows my children, my team, my dancers, the kindness and hard work matter. What you say and how you treat people can make or break someone's day. You have that power. So yes, life is not ideal right now. We all are going through something. We all are on this team, and it's hard right now. But I can't ask why anymore. We all know our purpose. And guess what? Hard work beats talent any day. So we can do this. Right now we rise up and seep through the muck. And I just know that the growth will come out of this will last a lifetime, but it will take time. Thank you.
Woo! We're all crying, so
We're sitting around the table blubbering like,
yeah, that was awesome, Kristen. That was just lot of wisdom. And no worry that I'm ever the smartest one in the room. Okay, so now top 25, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, so we're going to do two different top 25s, the net sales by program and the net sales by director. Okay, so just give us 2 seconds here for Amanda to get up. Yeah, she doesn't want you to see this. It's a secret. Now, are they supposed to open anything in there?
After we've.
Okay, after we've done this, there's something to open. Did everybody see their chaos coordinator t-shirt? Did you like that? Hi, Robin.
All right, here we go.
All right. So do I have to stay with you? Or?
So we are top 25 by program first.
Okay, so this is by program, and we're new directors. One of the things we're doing right now is going over who was the top net sales in our company out of the 200 programs. And in 25th place, in the top 25, making the top 25, which is a big deal, is Michelle Stockert. And in 24th place is Lori Cinnamon with Streeter, Illinois. And in 23rd place, we have Paige Engels in Moorhead, Minnesota. And in 22nd place, we have Sioux Falls, Jennifer Frankum. Hold on a minute, people. And in 21st place, we have Kelsey Vercruzzi from Minnetonka, Minnesota. From St. Peter, Minnesota, we have Molly Reinhardt. And number 20. Okay, somebody needs to be muted. I'm trying to figure out. There we go. Okay, and in 19th place, Morgan Rohr from Stewartville, Minnesota. And in 18th place is Larissa Rosno from White Bear Lake, Minnesota. And in 17th place, from DeKalb, Illinois, April Mapes. And in 16th place, from Grand Island, Nebraska, Sarah Garduno. And in 15th place, North Fargo, North Dakota, Carly Hager. And in 14th place, from Princeton, Minnesota, Dorian Sjogren. And in 13th place, from West Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Heather Summers. And in 12th, in the top 12, Owatonna, Minnesota, Victoria Johnson. And coming in 11th place is Stephanie Work from Sioux City, Iowa. And number 10, New Ulm, Molly Reinhardt. Number 9, Austin, Minnesota, Madeline Rohr. And number 8, Richfield, Bloomington, Minnesota, Heather Daggett. And number 7, Thief River Falls, Minnesota. And number,
You didn't say her name, but.
Oh, Maureen Price. And in 6th place, Rochester, Minnesota, Bethany Morrissey. And in 5th place, from Farmington, Tanya Peterines. And from in fourth place, from West Fargo, Ricky Lean. And in third place in the top 25, from Medina, Megan Hutton Raby. And in second place is Windsor, Colorado, Kristen Randall. And in first place, St. Cloud, Brittany Schubert.
That's the end, top 25.
All right, there we go. And also Brainerd, just saying. We were up there.
Just takes yourself out of it.
Yeah, all right. So now the next one is the net sales by director. And we tried to come up with this because some directors teach in 2 places or 3, and their revenues combined end up making them a higher up director. So we're going to start now in 25th place. And are we ready?
Yep.
We have Taylor Karin from Rochelle and Waterman, Illinois.
That's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's a good picture. In 24th, Larissa Roseno from White Bear Lake. 23rd, April Mapes from DeKalb. And in 22nd, Sarah Gardono, I don't know how to say your name correctly, from Grand Island, Nebraska. 21st is Michelle Roloff from New London, Spicer, and Olivia. In 20th is Brooke Milky from Wilmer, Springfield, and Nicollet. In 19th place, Jennifer Frankum from East Sioux Falls.
Frankman.
What?
Frankman.
What did I say?
Frankman.
Frankman from East Sioux Falls and Crooks. In 18th is Heather Summers from West Sioux Falls. And then next up, we have 17th is Victoria Johnson from Owatonna. And in 16th, Morgan Rohr from Stewartville, Chatfield. And in 15th is Stephanie Work from Sioux City, Iowa. And 14th is Jess Karsh Strasburg from Becker and Paynesville. 13th is Carly Hager from North and South Fargo. And in 12th is Madeline Rohr from Austin. And 11th is Heather Daggett from Richfield, Bloomington. And in the top 10, Maureen Price from Thief River Falls. Amy Gunderson from Foley. Oh, sorry, I went too fast. Number 9, Amy Gunderson from Foley, Little Falls, and Rocori. Sorry. And in number 8, we have Dorian Sjogren from Princeton, Cambridge, and Piers. In 7th is Bethany Morrissey from Rochester. And in 6th is Tanya Peterines from Farmington and Lakeville. And now we're getting into the top 5. Molly Reinhardt from New Ulm and St. Peter. And in 4th place, Ricky Lean from West Fargo. And in 3rd is Megan Hutton Raby from Medina. And in 2nd is Kristen Randall from Windsor. And in 1st is Brittany Schubert from St. Cloud, and Brainerd tying with them. So awesome, you guys. Let's give it up for all the top 25.
Yay! Oh, now they can, if they have open those. Have an envelope like this.
Can they see you right now?
You too.
Okay, so now if you have an envelope like this that had that little sticker on it that says do not open, you now can open it, okay?
We want to see. And we want to see it on
And we
you.
want to see it on you. So those of you that have that envelope, that would mean if you're in the top 25 in either category, you would have gotten one of those envelopes.
Correct.
So
Why can't I get on here, guys?
get them on. It is their own mask.
Tell Tanya it flips on the inside.
Tanya, it flips on the inside.
Take it off her ears and flip it. There you go.
And then it will show your, you have low battery. It will show your number. So let's give it up. I also want to give it up to the office who made all these slideshows with all these pictures. It was pretty amazing.
That's just Amanda.
That was Amanda.
That was Amanda. But finding all the awards. So
Well, that was.
yes. So
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations. Very good.
okay, so we are supposed to be done at 8, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 11 more minutes and I'm not going to take them all, but I just wanted to, I've been reading a lot of these statements of strength to get through COVID. And I don't know about you, but it's taken all I can. And so here's a couple things I just want to share. So many of you will remember Lucille Ball, and probably not as well as me, and maybe, I don't know if any of you guys, do you remember?
I remember.
Forever.
Okay, so Lucille Ball is a great comedian, and I grew up watching her, and she has a tremendous statement of strength for all of us. Here's what Lucille says. She said, one of the things I learned the hard way was that it doesn't pay to get discouraged. Keeping busy and making optimism a way of life can restore your faith in yourself and also can restore your faith in others. Lucille Ball basically says, I learned that discouragement doesn't pay. When does discouragement become an asset to me? When does my discouragement become an asset to others? The answer is never, never. I have never met a discouraged person and walked away from them and said, wow, I just received so much hope from them. I just feel like I can conquer anything, said no one after they talked to a discouraged person. What it does is drag everyone down. Lucille Ball was right. It doesn't pay for me and it doesn't pay for you to be discouraged. During this whole pandemic, I will not kid you, I had to talk myself into feeling good so I could help those I serve. Guess what? When I did that, it ended up helping me too by helping you. So when you talk yourself into feeling good, it's not only going to make the other person feel good, it's going to make you feel good. And my last little statement of strength for tonight is from Winston Churchill. Now, I know you guys probably don't believe that Winston Churchill was a leader that's kind of been an idol for me. I bought his book. He's really cool on sayings and he's obviously not here, but talk about a person I've always looked up to. I think probably the greatest to live in the last century was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill said, courage is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. One of the neatest places I've ever been able to visit was the Winston Churchill Memorial Museum in London. And since I've always been a fan, I just got so excited. When we visited that museum, it was so neat to see the bunker where Winston Churchill, everything was left as they left the war. It was preserved just as it was in the war. And down to the sugar packets on his desk and the phone and the bunkers where they slept. It was so neat. And when he was in that bunker and they were being bombed by Nazi Germany was bombing the heck out of him. And in fact, let me give you a little perspective. Each and every one of us remembers 9/11. Just think, Winston Churchill had 51 9/11s during his reign, 51. The German Air Force came and literally bombed them throughout the night. And what would Winston do the next morning? Among the ruins, he would get his photographer and walk among those ruins. And he would, with a smile, he would be smoking his cigar, with his fingers in his traditional victory symbol and looking up. Basically, he was saying, look at me. I'm going from failure to failure, from bombing to bombing to bombing to bombing, and I've never lost my enthusiasm about it. That is a real leader. That is somebody I can respect. That is somebody we can respect. Let's compare it to what we've been going through together right now. It's hard for you to be the leader who all your kids and parents are looking to in unprecedented times. It has been challenging for me as your leader, you know, who you look to in these tough times. I feel we have been going from bombing to bombing without losing our enthusiasm. I got home from my 50 days in Florida in quarantine, where I had already worked through some of the, I was going to say some of my issues, but some of the issues from COVID and some of the losses. But when I got home and I walked into my office, it all came flooding back. I saw the Nationals file folder all prepared and ready to go for Nationals. I saw the Directors Convention folder all color-coded and prepared, way ahead of schedule compared to normal. I saw the camp folder with all the coaches' classes that didn't happen and all the prep that went into it. Then there was the New York folder with the schedule, the participants list, and the plans. Then there was the Lakes Jam Music Fest. And I just felt like I got bombed again as I walked into the office. Felt missing a beat. I set sail on new work ahead of me, throwing all those into the trash. I threw everything into the trash, emptied the trash, and set sail on the new work ahead of me, surviving. Believe it or not, I have not shed one tear during COVID. Not one during the whole thing. I don't know when I'm gonna have my meltdown, maybe after convention, but I kind of feel it wastes energy and sucks the life out of you. So I truly try to just control what I can control. So that is what we leave you with tonight, is go from bombing to bombing without losing your enthusiasm, go from failure to failure and keep hitting at it. And like we said earlier tonight, is you are going to work harder this year, but we are going to go down fighting, people. We are not going to let this get us, right?
No.
Woo! So now it's so weird that we can't just chit chat and talk and get out a drink. If you want to, you sure can. And we meet again tomorrow. We will have now it will be the new login that you were given during the second part of today. You know, when Allie sent that out.
I'll email it out because I have a couple forms. That
She has a couple more forms to send out. And we will start tomorrow. We'll put that on at 9:45 so you can get on. And then we will start at 10 a.m. sharp. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So you guys can chat, you can take your mutes off and talk, you can do whatever you want. So thank you everybody for taking your night. Your attention was great. And thank you everybody here for helping. It was wonderful.
Woo!
Woo, take care. Love you all.
I think if you leave though, everyone.
I unmuted us so we can talk. Hi, everybody. If you want to say anything, say it. If you want to just hang up, hang up. But we'll stay here for a minute.
Kristen Randall, nice job.
Nice job. And all the people who answered questions. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. So,
Yeah, send an email to me. I'll put everything.
Awesome. Take care, everybody, and see you in the morning. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.